AITA for refusing to pay for my siblings' wedding after they treated me like a bank. Hey, Reddit. I'm in a tough situation with my sibling and need some outside perspective. I, 33F, have a younger sister, Rachel, 28F. We've always had a close relationship, but things have gotten pretty rocky ever since she got engaged. For some background, I've always been the responsible one in the family. I have a stable job, no kids, and I've been pretty good with money. Rachel, on the other hand, has had a more chaotic life. She's always been a bit of a dreamer, jumping from one career idea to the next. She's had a few financial struggles, but I've helped her out a lot over the years. I did it because she's my sister, and I love her, but I feel like that goodwill is starting to backfire. Rachel got engaged last year to her boyfriend, Mike, 29M. When she announced the engagement, I was genuinely happy for her. But then came the planning. Oh, the planning. From day one, Rachel started dropping hints that she wanted a big, extravagant wedding. We're talking over-the-top venues, designer dresses, gourmet catering, the whole 9 yards. The problem? Neither she nor Mike has the funds for it. Mike works a decent job, but it's nowhere near enough to cover the kind of wedding Rachel wants. And as for Rachel, she's still in between jobs. A few months into the planning, Rachel asked me to help with the wedding costs. I expected this to some degree, but the more we talked, the clearer it became that she wasn't just asking for a little help. She wanted me to foot the entire bill. She asked if I could cover the venue, catering, flowers, and even her dress. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars here. I was floored. I told her that I couldn't afford to pay for everything, but I'd be willing to contribute a reasonable amount, maybe a few thousand to help with the essentials. She didn't take that well. She accused me of being selfish and said I was being stingy because I have the money and she doesn't. She even brought up how I'm not married and don't have kids, as if that means I have nothing else to spend my money on. I tried to explain that while I'm doing okay financially, I'm not a bank, and I have my own expenses to worry about. But Rachel wasn't hearing it. She told me I was ruining her dream wedding and that she was counting on me. Things got heated, and we stopped talking for a few weeks after that. Then, a couple of months ago, she sent me a long message apologizing for the argument and saying she wanted to revisit the topic. I thought maybe she had come to her senses and realized that a huge wedding wasn't feasible. But no. Instead, she doubled down. She sent me a full budget of what she needed, about $35,000 total, and asked if I could contribute at least $25,000. At this point, I was furious. I felt like I wasn't being asked for help as a sister anymore. It felt like I was being used for my money, like she didn't see me as a person, but just as a financial resource. I told her that I wasn't comfortable giving her that much money, and I didn't appreciate being guilt-tripped into doing something I couldn't afford. That's when Rachel lost it. She started calling me names, telling me I was a terrible sister and that I was ruining her life. She even got our mom involved, and now my mom is calling me daily, telling me how disappointed she is in me for not stepping up to help Rachel in her time of need. Rachel and Mike have started looking for cheaper options, but every time I talk to her, she's still dropping passive-aggressive comments about how she wishes her family was more supportive. It's driving me insane. I love my sister, but I can't keep enabling this behavior. I don't mind helping out where I can, but I'm not going to bankrupt myself for a wedding that I'm starting to feel less and less welcome at. Now I'm at a breaking point. I'm considering cutting off contact with Rachel for a while, but part of me feels guilty for even thinking that. I don't know if I'm being unreasonable or if I've just been pushed too far. So, Reddit AITA for refusing to pay for my sister's wedding after she treated me like her personal bank? Update. I didn't expect my post to blow up like this, but I wanted to give you all an update on the situation. After reading through the comments and taking some time to think, I decided that I needed to set some serious boundaries with Rachel. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about how she was treating me. A few days ago, I invited Rachel over for coffee so we could talk things through. I told her that I loved her and I wanted her to have a beautiful wedding, but I wasn't in a position to give her the amount of money she was asking for. I tried to explain that her demands were unfair and that I didn't appreciate being made to feel like I was responsible for her financial decisions. Well, it didn't go well. Rachel exploded on me again, saying I was selfish and didn't care about her happiness. She started crying, saying she had no idea how she and Mike were going to afford the wedding now. She even threw in some guilt about how she always looked up to me and how she thought I would be there for her. I stood my ground, though. I told her that while I understood she was stressed, that didn't excuse the way she had been treating me. I also made it clear that if she continued to act this way, I would have no choice but to take a step back from our relationship. Rachel stormed out, and I haven't heard from her since. Our mom, of course, is still calling me and trying to get me to change my mind, but I've told her I'm done discussing the wedding. It's been a tough few days, and part of me wonders if I could have handled things differently. But at the same time, I feel a sense of relief that I'm no longer being pressured. Update. I've got another update for you, and it's a doozy. After my last post, I had pretty much resigned myself to the fact that Rachel and I weren't going to speak for a while. But then, out of nowhere, I got a message from Mike, Rachel's fiancé. He apologized for how things had gotten out of hand and said he wanted to talk. We met up for coffee, and what he told me left me speechless. Apparently, Rachel had been hiding some financial issues from both of us. She had maxed out several credit cards in the months leading up to the wedding, and she had been counting on me covering most of the wedding costs to avoid telling Mike the truth. Mike had no idea she was in so much debt, and he was furious when he found out. Mike asked me if I could help him talk to Rachel about scaling back the wedding and maybe even getting some financial counseling. He was clearly upset, but didn't want to call off the wedding altogether. I agreed to help him, but I told him I wasn't getting involved financially. He understood, and we left it at that. Now I'm in this weird position where I feel like I'm being dragged into the middle of their relationship. On the one hand, I want to help Mike because he seems like a decent guy. But on the other hand, I don't want to be Rachel's problem solver anymore. I haven't spoken to her directly since the fallout, but I know Mike is trying to get her to agree to a smaller, more reasonable wedding. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen next. I'll keep you all posted. Final update. This will be my final update on the situation with Rachel and her wedding. A lot has happened since my last post, and I wanted to share how things turned out. After Mike and I talked, he confronted Rachel about her spending habits and the wedding. Things got ugly. Rachel was furious that Mike had gone behind her back to talk to me, and they had a huge fight. Eventually, they agreed to postpone the wedding until they could get their finances in order. Rachel was devastated, but Mike stood his ground, and I have to respect him for that. As for me, I've decided to take a step back from my relationship with Rachel for now. I've realized that I can't fix everything for her, and I need to focus on my own life. It's been hard, especially with our mom still trying to guilt me into helping, but I'm sticking to my decision. Rachel and Mike are still together, but things have been tense between them. I don't know if they'll make it to the altar, but that's not my problem anymore. I'm focusing on my own mental health and trying to move forward. Thank you to everyone who commented and offered advice. This has been one of the most challenging experiences of my life, but I feel like I've come out stronger. On the other side,